The expensive upholstered armchairs and large square coffee table that made up the seating nook and allowed patrons the comforts of home while they perused Tricia's stock of vintage first edition mysteries and newly minted bestsellers. A fat lot, Doris knew. Tricia struggled to quell her ire. I have the same worries as you and every other bookseller in the village. This store isn't a hobby for me. I resent the implication that I conspired against you and the other booksellers. I didn't know Bob Kelly before I came to this town, and I'm sure my rent is probably triple or quadruple what you're currently paying. That's my point, Doris insisted. If you hadn't agreed to pay such an exorbitant price, the rest of us wouldn't be in this mess. It was true, Tricia hadn't done much haggling before she signed on as the village's newest bookseller. But then she'd been used to the idea of Manhattan rents, and the contrast made the deal she'd been offered seem like a steal. I'm sorry, Doris, Tricia said, and disposed of her disposable coffee cup in the wastebasket beneath the counter. But I really don't see how I can be of any help. Doris straightened, her contempt palpable. We'll see. She turned and plodded for the exit, wrenched open the door. The little bell overhead gave a cheerful tinkle, an absurd end to an unpleasant conversation. Don't tell me the old crab was in here carping about her rent again. Tricia turned. Ginny Wilson, a lithe 20-something redhead and Tricia's only employee, staggered under the weight of a carton of books and dumped it on the counter. Word is that Doris, she said the name with such disdain, has been all over town, badgering the merchants to hop on her let's save the cookery bandwagon. She claims she's going to have to go out of business if she can't negotiate a better lease. She waved a hand in dismissal. I say good riddance. A glance around the area proved at least one of the shop's regular patrons, Mr. Everett, a silver-haired elderly gent who showed up at opening and often had to be chased out at night, had been eavesdropping on the conversations. Tricia placed a finger to her lips and frowned. You never had to work for her, Ginny hissed, and removed a sheathed box cutter from the pocket of her hunter green apron, opened it, and slit the tape on the carton. Haven't got a clue, the bookshop's name, was embroidered in yellow across the apron's top. Pinned to the neck strap was Ginny's name tag. Tricia, too, wore a tag, but not an apron. She wanted some distinction made between the owner and the help. Not that she didn't do her share of the hefting and carrying around the store, though she tried to do it after business hours. Slacks and sweater sets were her current dress code, and today she'd chosen a raspberry combination, which seemed to accent her blue eyes and complement her light brown hair. Oh, before I forget, Ginny said, dipping into her apron pocket once again. I found this in a copy of Patricia Cornwell's newest release. Tricia took the small folded piece of paper and sighed. Another religious tract. Often visitors would hide them in books, hoping to spread the good word, but as she scanned the text, Tricia's eyes went wide. Nudists? Ginny grinned. Is that weird or what? Tricia crumpled the leaflet and tossed it, too, into the wastebasket. We'd better be on the lookout. If we find one, there's usually 10 more hidden amongst the stock. The circa 1935 black telephone by the register rang. Tricia picked up the heavy handset, noticing Doris had left her glasses on the counter. Haven't got a clue. Tricia speaking. How can I help you? Darling Trish, I'm so glad it was you who answered. I despise speaking to that little helper of yours. She never wants to put me through to you. The apprehension Tricia had felt when talking with Doris blossomed into full-fledged dread as she recognized her sister's voice. Angelica? Of course it's me, and I've been trying to get a hold of you for a week. Doesn't that girl ever give you messages? It must have slipped her mind. Which was a lie. Tricia had given Ginny orders to screen calls and to never put Angelica through. It wasn't that the sisters couldn't get along. It was just that Tricia chose not to. Growing up in Angelica's shadow had been painful enough. Putting up with her in adulthood was simply out of the question. You should give me your cell number, Angelica.